Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bizchicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, strategies, everything you need to take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. Today is Tuesday. The digital diva is in the house. Terry Johnson, online from New York City, right here, right now. She's going to bring us the latest and greatest in social media and digital marketing. So sit back, relax, get a pen and paper. Let's take some really good notes so that you can implement what she's putting down today. So, TJ, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Marketing Talk. This is a place where we talk about all the tips and trends and what's happening with marketing and marketing strategy online, especially with social media. And I love to bring you studies. So I have a new data study, and it's called, let me get it's called the Future Shopper 2024 global study. Now, it's not just the United States, it's global. It is put out by VLM, and I had the link ready for you guys because you can, it's a big PDF. It's like 50, 60 slides. We're not going to do all of those today. I just pulled out the ones about shopping online and social media. So let me get you that link, and I'm also going to show it, and I have some slides from the PDF. As I said before, there are tons of slides and lots of information, lots, but I just picked out what we can fit into about an hour. Okay, let me bring up the link so we can see it. So it's the Future Shopper 2024 has landed by VML. Now I was trying to figure out what VML is, but they do branding and all kind of things worldwide. So you can go here and download it yourself. They're saying our biggest report yet explores the evolving shopper landscape globally and new opportunities for brands to drive long-term success. Yes, I was like, yeah, let me see what's going on. So here, you this link, let me put it in the chat so you can download your own copy. As I said before, there's lots of things in here, but we're just going to go over just a teeny tiny bit. And so this is they do this annual Future Shopper report. This is their 8th annual edition. They talk to more than 31,000 shoppers across 20 countries. So this is global. So they say that this provides a clear view into the online shopping trend of shoppers today and in the future. But I'm thinking the future, they're like 5 years ahead, not 20. This is like maybe 5. So the near future, including why spending habits are changing and what to expect as we shift toward a world where physical and digital merge. Remember, we talked about that. I said it's going to be hybrid. Before the pandemic, it was all in person. Then we had the pandemic and people had to do online. But now we're in a world, especially work from home. And there's a section, work from home in here, where things are hybrid. You get to choose. Do you want to go in? Do you want to shop online? Do you want to pick it up? All those things are here. Okay, so that is VML. I was kind of confused. They do a lot of stuff, and I was like, well, you guys got to get clear on what you do. All right, so that link is there. Now I want to talk a little bit more before I bring up the PDF. So why are we talking about the future shopper, online trends, shopping trends? Because this is how you figure out or you get information on why people buy, especially online. Don't you want to know that? I do. I'm curious. So because the world, and this is from, I'm going to give my assistant, I forgot what I was going to call her. Jessica. My assistant Jessica says, she put these notes together for me. The world is changing and so are shoppers. The new normal consumers are different. Online shopping is a channel reaching maturity, but it's still positively viewed and showing potential for growth. As social platforms become more embedded in our lives, it makes sense that retailers and brands should look to convert a captive audience into a buying audience. So that's why we're here. We want to captivate and convert. Well, I like that.
Okay, we need to write that down.
I got it. No, it's in here.
Oh,
I
no,
got
no,
it.
no. We need to put that down so
I
our
got it. It's I'm gonna write it down.
onwards.
Look on my social media. It's gonna be there. Captivate and convert. All right. So thank you, Jessica. So there are a couple things, but and there's a lot of facts and figures here. We're gonna break it down, but this is the one that where they're talking about the future. 53% of spending is online, down from 58% in 2023, but it is set to grow to 60% in 5 years' time. So there's going to be growth. So they're saying it's coming down now. I think an adjustment and then it's going to grow. This is online shopping as a habit. It's what people do, the norm, the new normal, Jessica called it. 47% of global consumers believe online provides a better experience than offline retailing. That means going into the store. Okay. All right. So we're gonna bring up the slides, but let me give you a little bit more information about the survey or the report. VML spoke to 31,500 shoppers across 20 countries. They surveyed. That's who they surveyed. In order to qualify, they had to have shopped at least once online in the preceding month. The surveys took place in Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, Colombia, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Peru, Saudi Arabia, South America, Thailand, UAE, United Arab Emirates. I think that's what that is. UK and US between 5/22/2024 and 6. Oh, wait a minute. They're UK. So this would be no, that's right. 5/22/2024 to 6/05/2024. Because sometimes UK they do their month and year differently. So I was like, wait a minute, is that is that day and month and day or day and month? But that's day and month. So May 22nd, June 5th, pretty recent. So they're saying that they use members of the market research study, which is based on the ESOMAR principle. So they go into the principles of the survey. Okay, so let's get into this. The 8th annual edition of the Future Shopper. So we're going to look at the habits of online shopping trends of 31,500 consumers across the regions of the world. And there's going to be some information that well, I was not shocked, but I was like, wow, as far as where the US is in the lineup. Okay, so let's add it. So this is Future Shopper. Again, the link is in the comments. If you want to download your own copy, I believe it's 50, 60 slides. They go into so much more. There's a gaming section. There's hold on. I think there's the okay. So yeah, so this is the countries. I listed them. This is a little bit of introduction. We're not going to read that. I took a little bit from here, but if you want to read that, you can. I want to get here to the content. So this is what's in here. So they did the headlines. We're going to look at the headlines. They had future shopping condensed. They had little bits of data that they put on the page. But here's the section. They did changing consumers, changing behaviors, working from home, like I said, the customer journey by industry, online purchasing in more detail, getting the experience right. That means, making sure that that consumer experience is up to their satisfaction. Marketplaces, artificial intelligence, sustainability, that means environmental, concerns. Social commerce, social media, that's the section I took. Gaming commerce, and then new channels and new technology in a conclusion. So all of that is in the full document. I took some things out. So like we're not going to talk about all of this stuff. We don't have enough time. All right, so these are the headlines they pulled out from the whole study. And again, I'm not going to read all these because they go into different things about mobile shopping, post-consumer, post-COVID consumer, physical retail, and what they prefer, the shift between in and out, in person and online. And again, this is all in the study. talk about price sensitivity. Oh, it's all in here, which is good. So this is section 1, changing consumers, changing behavior. And let's take a look at this. So this one, they're talking about online spending shrinks. And they're saying 53% of spending in is online, but it was going to shrink, and it has, but it's going to grow. And there's another chart that with the numbers. So I'm not going to read all this. So they were saying that the figure for online spending was 58%. The year before it was 57%. But we see a decline in 2024 of 53%. But they are predicting, based on trends and data, they've been doing this for 8 years, that there's going to be a growth. Now, here, 62%. India is the country with the highest percentage of online shopping. I was like, oh man, where's the USA in this list? It's not where you think. All right, so let's look at that. I think that one's next. Here we go. Yeah, I highlighted it for you. Percentage of online spending across countries now and in 5 years. USA is 13. India is number 1. China's number 2. Thailand is number 3. Saudi Arabia is 4. Brazil is 5. South Africa is 6. UK is 7. UAE is 8. Colombia is 9. Indonesia is 10. Netherlands 11. Mexico is 12. USA is 13. Now they're saying 51% currently spend online. What they did last year was 54%. Now this is what they estimate in 5 years time is 55%, and then there's a growth of 4%. But look at these other countries. Was anybody surprised that India was number 1? I was.
Yeah, I would have thought China was number 1.
Mhm. Mhm. Me too. But this is, they talk to a sample. You don't need to talk to everybody. You talk to a sample. This is how marketing surveys set up. They determine how many they need in what places. This is the average mean of this and that. So they don't need to talk to everybody. Just like you said, I think the criteria was they had to have shopped in the previous month. They're not talking to somebody that bought something last year or in January. It's like you had to have shopped the previous month. And I was like, USA is all the way at the bottom. Well, not all the way at the bottom, because Italy is at the bottom at 20. And I'm just like, my guess is because Italy does not have a lot of youth. I think I remember reading that somewhere. Like it's an older country,
Yeah.
right?
I meant a lady from Portugal, and it
Mm-hmm.
was the same thing. They were trying to get younger people to come in because Portugal is an old city or
Right,
old country.
right. A lot of the European countries, it's their population, the youth is not there. Hey, Dr. Tachi.
Dr. Tachi says, I would have thought China was number 1 as well.
Me too. Me too. But here we go. Now, this is not the be in all the surveys. There are other surveys. I will probably come across them. But this is one sample, and it's a good snapshot of global spending. And then they're estimating the change, what will happen in 5 years. And I agree with this, that it's going to increase. It's dipping this year from last year to this year. But in 5 years' time, why? Because more people will feel comfortable with shopping direct. Remember before when the internet first started in the 90s, nobody wanted to put their credit card in a sketch. That website looks sketchy. What happens if I put my credit card number in there? I'm not doing it. But now we're in a different space of time with shopping. The pandemic has changed a lot, and it will continue to change. So here we go. This is good to know. So India is number 1, China's number 2, Thailand is number 3, and good old USA is 13. See, we're not number 1. We always think we're number 1 in everything. No. All right, let's move on. Okay, so this one, who or what influences consumers? I want to talk about this one too, because it's saying 19% of the biggest influence on global consumers when they shop is friends. Friends, not social media influencers or bloggers. They're number 2. Not family members, they're number 3. Not celebrities, they're number 4. Then it goes in-store sales assistants. That means you're in the store and they give you suggestions or whatever. Streamers, I believe that is I want to say that's Netflix and those guys, streamers. Uh Colleagues, work relate, workers, co-workers, sports stars and athletes, business people, journalists, and politicians at the end. Okay, so and again, with the next slide is going to break this by age, which is very interesting. But here we go. Friends, 19% in 2024. It was 17% in 2022. Social media influencers, bloggers, that's Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat. In 2022 was 15. In 2024 is 17%. Family members influence you about what to buy. It was 20% in 2022. It is now 16% in 2024. It went down for 4%. Celebrities, 6% this year. It was 5%. Not a big change. In-source assistants, no change. Streamers, a little change. Colleagues, and on down the list, no changes. Okay, so they're saying that they wanted to get a view on who or what influences purchasing. The big fallers, the big drop this year, family members dropping 2 positions from the top spot to 3rd. So family members was number 1. It used to be, it was.
You know what's interesting? That the celebrities are not as effective and are not as influential as they used to be.
Hey, there you go. Remember pre-internet, pre-social media, a celebrity said something, you did it. Or you were it was like, hey, so and so said, drink this tea, drink this orange juice. Who's the lady that used to do orange juice when I was a kid?
Um, what was her name?
Some lady from Florida. They had all kind of jingles and all kind of commercials. Hey,
And then even on here, they have the sports stars and athletes, and those people are even further down, like Gatorade, or I'm thinking Gatorade and some of the other sports drinks.
Wheaties. What was that? Wheaties. Remember that they used to put Bruce Jenner was on the box. Who else was on?
Yeah, there's several people on the box, and
Mhm.
it was a big deal if you got a celebrity on the box. I
Right.
mean, a sports figure on the box.
Right. And you know why sports stars and celebrities are so low? Social media. Because before social media, before the internet, the connection between you and your favorite star was when they showed up on the Oscars once a year, or they did a movie or whatever. You rarely got to interact with them the way that we do now. Celebrities are everywhere. We're like, whatever. Oh, that's so and so, whatever.
I know we are no longer, what is the word, starstruck. It's like,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
not stuck because the connection between us is a phone.
right. So you can see what they've been doing. You can keep up with their whatevers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this was a bigger deal pre-internet, pre-social media. Also with sports, they know they have a youth problem, especially in NBA. Not NBA, sorry. Um Baseball. I think baseball is the one that they really have a issue with young sports, young fans, bringing young fans in, whereas the NBA is different.
Mark
Hey,
is
ask Mark Ward.
Mark said, "I refuse to buy food until I know what Francine eats." It is interesting, though. The social media influencers are number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So your friends are still the biggest influence, even though
Right,
they
but it
only
used to
came
be
up.
family members. But they're saying here
Right.
in the text, it used to be family members.
Yeah, back in 2022 was 20%, and
Mhm.
now they're only now it's 16%. They dropped off.
Right. So let's take a look at. I think the next one is the age. Yes, this is the age. breakdown. Who influences who influences you most about what you like to buy? Social media influencers for age group 20 to 24, 24%. With the 65 and up crowd, social media influencers, bloggers is 2%. And we know why, because 65 plus and up is not on social media. A quick story I saw today. A lady who was her she did her first TikTok today because she saw the previous president on one of the channels saying a whole bunch of blah blah blah. She was so upset about the Hurricane Helene. So she was so upset, and she could not. She said, usually I would talk to my neighbors, or she would talk to a neighbor next door, walk out the door, hey neighbor, blah blah blah. Well, she couldn't do that because of the storm, or they weren't there, or something concerning the storm. So she said, this is my first TikTok, and I'm only on here because I cannot talk to the people I normally talk to. So she did one video. I think it was maybe 2 minutes or whatever. And she was talking about how she wanted to vent because she saw the former president on TV, and she was really upset. And she was 65 up. And she said, and I think she did it perfectly, because she came on and said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to talk, and TikTok, blah, blah, blah. She's got one video. I think right now it's got maybe 30K views on it. She did one video because she needed to go, and she needed to talk. She needed to vent. She needed whatever, get it out, because she was so frustrated about what's going on. I thought that was very telling, because people think, well, okay, the older crowd's not going to go on TikTok, but they will. If they're in a situation where they need to vent or talk or get an opinion or say something, they will. So them not following social media influencers, I don't think that number will ever be 24%, but it will grow based on, like I said today about the video. And because this crowd 65 and up think, okay, kids is doing silly, stupid stuff on TikTok. I don't want to be a part of that. But I've always said that you go on TikTok, you do these short videos, you do reels because you have something to say. And the era of monkey dancing is over, thank goodness. Remember that? Everybody pointing in the air. Oh man, that bugged me to death. It's like, come on. Remember that social media, and I bring that up because this older crowd will start to get it. They always see the silliness, and it's like silly to them. Why would you want to get on and talk to strangers? But that was one example today that I saw, that she wanted to get on and talk to strangers. She didn't go live. She just recorded something because she was like, I gotta get this out. Normally, I would just go in to my next door neighbor or have a cup of coffee on the porch. That's how they, in real life, that's how they do it. But this is what's happening. So this gap here is because 65 and up is not, they see social media is a silly thing. But I always say you got to look at the other side of it. It's an information tool. And the dancing kids and the dancing monkey stage is gone. Goodness. Great.
There's something that I recognize not too long ago, is that the people who are 65, I'm going to say 50 to 65, a lot of them are the reason why we have the technology that we have.
Yes.
And so they are more apt to be on a platform to say something based on their background, right?
Yes, to talk,
Right.
not to dance.
Right. They would use the platform only because they know how. I mean, they may not know exactly how everything works, but they have enough um, know-how in tech that they would do it. I'm thinking of the Tim Cooks and the other people
They're
who
all in the 50 and 55 and up stage.
right. And I'm thinking, oh, so this is going to be interesting. So the people who created all this stuff we're using, we're going to
Mhm.
still see them on the stuff we're using. It's the
Right.
ones that didn't, you know, maybe they didn't have anything to do with that. Mark has a comment here. He
Okay.
says, I rarely get any interactions on TikTok or IG, but I continue. I think of it as my way of leaving something behind. There will be evidence that I was here and had something to say.
And that's right. You need to keep going because it's evidence of what you had to say and it's being here and present and having a message. Now, to that, I saw a video the other day on YouTube, a new person that I'm following. We talked about he had the craft lady on. I forgot his name, Omar something. New he's doing he's doing a podcast. He calls it a podcast. They call it apartment. And I watched
Yes.
one of his, yeah, he's got great videos.
And
And he
he's,
did,
may I say something? He is
yeah.
the guy, he was with Think Media.
Yes, he would think he said because he this last video that I saw, he talked about that being the face of Think Media, that he helped them their video channel to grow. And because I was like, how did I find this guy? I think I found him because of Think Media. And this is
Yeah.
what YouTube does. YouTube's connects you. Okay. But he had a video, and you can go see it. If I find the link, I'll put it in. And I think it's about how to podcast in 2024, something about, and he talks about the whole process of how he started. And he made some very, very good points that people don't pay attention to. But one of them was that I think he did like 100 videos. I'm not sure I'm not he did 100 and then it clicked. He didn't click on video one, click on video 100. I believe it's 100. It's a number. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he also made up not made up. He also came up with a stat that said, from his experience, he said most people start after the third podcast, they drop off. And he
Right.
just said to fix that is to put four in the can, 4 or 5. He said that's what I did. He said when I started my YouTube channel, he did 4 and then he was good. It was like giving yourself a running start. And then he also talked about another man, I cannot remember his name, and I looked him up and watched a video on him yesterday where he was talking about his YouTube channel that he had for 10 years, and he was just putting stuff up. Just I think he's a motivational speaker, something speaker. I got to do more research on him. I cannot remember his name. When I find that, I will link that also. And he was saying how his YouTube channel, he just put stuff up. Like, he wasn't consistent. Da, 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 da. He said in the last 2 years, he started being consistent. And I think he grew from like 100 to 10K in like 2 years because he had put purpose behind it, was consistent, and that's what I'm saying about what's going on here. You have to keep testing, you have to keep posting, you have to keep doing until the match strikes. When that happens, oh, everybody would love to know that, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we love to know when it takes off? And it's not just these two people, Roberto Blake. A lot of people I see on YouTube say that the flat line of their analytics for a video, ooh, and then it goes and they try to figure out, well, what was it? A lot of various things. But what I'm saying is instead of trying to figure out okay, I always say, oh, I want to go viral. Try to figure out the consistent part of the other gentleman that I was saying about. He was posting, he wasn't taking it seriously for 10 years, had a YouTube channel. He was like, oh, I will just randomly put stuff up. But then the last 2 years, he did something and boom, 10K, and then now I think he's at like 80,000 or something. But I'm in the middle of watching that. That's a longer video, but I just remember those two things because see, this is the thing that people think. Also with Instagram, I talk about Instagram all the time. It may not be the place to be. I'm sorry. The way things are happening on Instagram, it may not be the place for you to be number one. I mean, be there, post, but it may not be number one. Always say if you're selling something, especially if you're selling something or affiliate marketing, whatever, you want to be on Pinterest. The platform is designed for selling. I don't know how else to explain it. Instagram is not designed for that. Instagram is designed for you to be entertaining, meme-ish, fun stuff. If you're not catching the interest of a certain crowd, Instagram's not going to help you out. That's just the reality of it. Whereas, like I talked about YouTube, I love it because I found Omar because I watched Think Media because I was watching Sean when he was with the other guy. Sean Cannell, I think his last name. He had a partner like 10 years ago. And I watched him since then. I think it's been 10 years. It's 6 years. Something years. He started out on YouTube with a partner. I can't remember that guy's name, but they had something else. Something happened and they broke apart and he did his own thing as Sean, and now he's Think Media, and then Omar came out of Think Media as an employee.
Right.
But see, this is the thing that what I'm saying is the reason why you're doing it, and that's why we look at these studies about buying, because if you're running a business, you want people to buy. You don't really. I'm like, numbers, followers are great, but who's buying? Who's connecting? Well, here's some information to help us go, okay, this age 16 to 24, if that's your cohort of generational, your audience, well, who's the biggest influencer in that age group? It's social media influencers, bloggers on whatever website, social media platform, whatever you want to name. Now 65 and up, that's not their jam. They don't care about that. Look, they actually, no one, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 5, nothing, no one influences 65 and up. Why is that? None of these things influence them.
Wow.
I have a guess, because they have experience and knowledge. Hard won, hard fought of going through whatever, blah blah blah, and I know. Say they
Yes.
need to buy a say they need to buy a washing machine. Well, you're 65. I've gone through all the brands. I've done the research at age whenever they bought their house. Say 30.
Right. Right.
I fixed it. I've called the plumber. So they know all of that. They don't need anybody to influence them. So when they're 65 and they need to buy, they know what to get. I don't. Let's look at detergent, laundry detergent. I don't need nobody to. I've tested them all. I know what works for me. No one influences them because they've been through it already. That's my thought process behind why they say no one. I don't need anybody to influence me because I've been to that. I've done through that. I've gone through that. Whereas 16 to 24, it's 7% because they haven't experienced anything. They haven't gone through the stuff that the 65 and up club has. That's what I think. Anybody else want to weigh in on that? Please let me know.
Yeah, you can see where, because again, if you haven't experienced it, you're going to reach out to someone who has. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have experienced it, you're probably like, yeah, you are the one that somebody else comes to.
Right. So think about in your own family, you have an older, elder, relative, whoever, aunt, uncle, grand. Who do you go to for advice? Because they've been through it. If you want to buy a house or you want to do this or buy a car, who do you go to? You go to your friends, or do you go to your mom, dad, grandma, uncle, somebody older? Because they've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been through it. I got a house and something, the roof of that. Let me call my mom or my dad or my uncle, my grandma, somebody older. Why do you call the older person? Experience, and they've gone through it. That's what I think. This nothing influences them to buy. That's the way I see it. It could be, there's no explanation behind this. There's some commentary from some experts in some of the other slides, but I'm just going by, okay, this is what I think it is. So same thing. Look at celebrities. It's 0% with 65 and up. Zero. Like a celebrity can't make me buy nothing if I'm 65 and up.
And
Whereas
so
16 to 24 is 8%.
this is like, so Kylie Jenner is not going to influence me to buy some lipstick. Oh,
But
because
even say if it was because Dolly Parton, if you didn't know, Dolly Parton has a lipstick line and she has fragrances and other things besides music. Now,
exactly.
think of that age group. Dolly's not going to influence them to buy anything because if it's lipstick, they've already they're bought into a brand that they've been
They
using
already
for years.
have a brand.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Dolly might be, some of the younger
Yes,
people
that's
may,
exactly where her marketing and advertising is going to the younger crowd who love Dolly Parton.
right, and who say, "Oh, I want to look like that when I get that age
Not,
or
and I'm
whatever."
not saying that 65 don't love Dolly. She can't influence them to buy something because they're already invested in a brand by
Right.
the age of 65. Think about anybody older in your family. What kind of detergent do they buy? What kind of bread do they buy? What kind of this do they buy? What kind of car do they like? And when you tell them, oh, this new brand, this new car, blah, 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 they don't want to hear it. They don't
Mm-mm.
want to hear it. I guarantee you they don't want to hear it. That's just how it goes. So that's why I'm thinking that this why they nothing, no one, celebrities. The number two for them is family members. Again, the older crowd, 25% because there's more of a connection with in real life family members versus some crazy kid on social media doing a monkey dance, doing a dance. And they don't want that kind of stuff. So these are the things you got to know and pay attention to because you have to know, is my target audience in 16 to 24 or are they 65 plus? Because if they're 65 and up, you don't need to pay attention to any other stuff except maybe the 55 to 64 crowd because that's the next crowd, that's the next cohort that's going to be 65 plus.
But but on here, they 25% that they will listen to family members.
Right. And that's older because those are in anything IRL in real life experiences, connections. Like I said, that's why I brought up the example of the lady with the TikTok today. Today. She wasn't never, ever, ever going to get on TikTok. I guarantee you she was never going to pick up and start dancing or talk or trauma, the not putting down Gen Z. They come on and they trauma dump and they this and they get ready with me. They don't care. This is their life. Whereas 65 and up, this is not our life. This is not your life. So that lady today, because she was so upset about the situation and what was said and what was done, and she feels like the media isn't pushing back or whatever reason. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I got to go back and listen, but she was very upset and she was like, I need to talk. And then a matter of fact, I just looked at the video. It's doubled in the last 2 hours. Her views. And I expect that to go up. Um so there you have it. So let's look at some more. Is there any questions? Any more questions?
It's interesting that we don't trust the politicians
No. They're on the bottom.
and
Journalists.
Walter Cronkites either. Just
Yeah, thank you. We're not in the era of Walter Cronkite. Who's the guy on NBC when I was a kid? What's the guy? I can't think of his Dave. Not David. No, some guy on NBC Nightly News. I cannot remember his name.
oh, is it Brian?
Is it Brian? No, I think it's whoever was before Brian. I cannot
Okay,
remember.
okay, there's the
I think
thing.
his daughter is an actress now. I don't, but anyway, what I mean is that era of trusting the journalists because it was Walter Cronkite, Mike Wallace, name those people. That era is no longer here. No longer. Mm-mm. So they're not influencing anybody. Business people, again, we're in a different era. This is not I'm trying to think of somebody. Um what is that? I always think about this commercial. The one where they E.F. Hutton. Yes, the E.F. Hutton says and everybody does it. That era of business people is over.
Right.
Sports stars over. Colleagues listening to your coworkers over. No. No.
Oh, Dr. Toxie says the 60 Minutes
Tom
crew.
Brokaw. Yes, thank you, Mark. That's who it is.
Yeah, Tom
Tom
Brokaw
Brokaw.
before yeah, and it's like, okay, and
Man, if you
people would
can't
tune
trust
in.
if Tom Brokaw got on and said something, hey. Walter Cronkite in back in the day, there's a couple Edward R. Murrow,
Barbara
Barbara
Walters.
Walters, Mike Wallace, Hugh
Yeah,
Downs. I'm just thinking I like all the older like trustworthy. They had trustworthiness. Now, Dan Rather, yes. Thank you. Dan Rather, yes. That's one.
yep.
The two journalists that broke the Watergate story. I can't think of their names. Woodward and Bernstein? Is that it? I can't remember. But that era gone. Sorry.
Yeah, because if that's a history question right now for the people.
Peter Jennings. Thank Mark. See, Mark got it all. Dr. Tony said the 60 Minutes crew. Yes, the old crew.
60
Trying to
Minutes
think.
was the thing that you watched on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock.
Trustworthy.
Hmm.
Trustworthy is the word. We're not there anymore.
Because some of the people have blown
Media
that
food.
trust situation. They blew the trustworthiness.
It's their own fault.
Hmm.
It's their own fault. I'll say 2016. That's all I'll say. It's their own fault. Where they are now, crying and oh, the subscribers in New York Times. It's because of 2016, guys. 2016. That's all I'm gonna say. They got their own cry me a river mainstream media. But see, now we have and again, I'm glad I saw that story today about the older lady. I think she was in Tennessee, no, North Carolina, somewhere. And she was saying why she came on perfectly, explained herself why she was doing it. I would have never gotten on TikTok. She's like, I can't believe here I am on TikTok, but it's the only way I can get out. It's the only way. And then she was saying something about about the cell service being down, but something about satellites. And I saw that story also yesterday that people that have the new iOS on the iPhone could get through in that
Because,
area in the area because the satellite.
because of the satellite function on the iPhone. And I think
Yes.
that's on the 15 and the 16.
Yes.
I think it might be on the 14 too,
And
but because of the new iOS 18,
yes.
it allows you satellite service.
Yes. So they could get and why is that important? They could get messages out and receive messages. They could tell their loved ones, their family members they were okay. They could put out SOS to the support teams or whoever's out there looking and doing and rescue mission and this and that. And they could get a message back. Now, if you're on straight cell, there's none of that happening, which is happening with a lot of people, unfortunately. So again, here it is. Technology is the greatest thing we have, and it also can be one of the negative things. You have to decide how to use it. The
Mm.
intention. I always tell you it's a screwdriver. When you pick it up, it's one thing, your intention, another thing. So here, these numbers here are there any other numbers we want to look at before we move on? No.
Oh, okay. One more other thing: the
Mhm.
65 plus don't even trust their colleagues.
Well, they
Mm.
don't have any.
No, but the people you were in business with, or people that
Yeah,
you.
but see, again, that connection, they may not be speaking to them
Right, because we know you and what you did. Okay, because
Co-workers, they're not working, so they might not,
no, what I meant was
Mhm.
colleagues, because in the education system, if they were
Oh, I see what you're
professors,
saying. Yeah, that they
they,
the
people,
networking.
yeah,
Again,
they're like,
they may have left that behind, or they're in a different space and they're retired and they're doing golfing or swimming or
and or we knew
crafting.
who you were and how you behaved, and I'm
Yes.
not taking notes.
Yes, it's different. It's
Yeah.
different. So that's an interesting one also. But the nothing no one, I looked at that and was like, wow, look at from 65 on that. So it's 50%, 38. It just keeps going down as younger, because the younger crowd they don't have the experience of going through or buying or doing or whatever. So they need influence, whereas the older crowd does not need influence.
Mark,
Trust no
Mark,
one.
Mark says it's because we all watch the X Files. Trust no one.
I'm just like, when I see these numbers, I'm just like, hey, look, this is what it is. We can talk about it, and I tell you what I hear online, but these numbers are here. Um, so again, this tells you about your generation cohort and how they feel, what they do, what influences them. So this is again guidelines. And let's see, I think there's a few more. Okay, social media, media. Okay, so this one, um, so they've been tracking buying through social media channels, and here it is from 2021 to 2024. It went from 44% to 73%. Again, this is global. Remember, India is number one, and so they're saying that it's set to reach 913 billion this year and predicted to grow by 31.6% per year to reach 6.2 trillion by 2030. And this is social commerce, buying online, buying through an app, buying through a website, instead of going to the store and looking and touching and feeling. And then there's, the sales assistant and the this and that, and then you buy. So that line is shorter. And it's saying because social media platforms become more embedded in our lives, it makes sense that retailers and brands look to convert a captive audience into a buying audience, because it's basically you go where the fish are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in the mall. We tell you that they're not in the mall. They're not there. All right, so there's some numbers here. Okay, here we go. This one is a percentage of consumers who have bought through social commerce. Again, China's number one here. Thailand is number two. Peru is number three. India slipped down to number five. USA, we're all the way to almost to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
73% of global shoppers claim to have bought something through a social media platform. Again, we live in USA. We think, everything is happening here, but we're all the way down. I don't even know what, 14, 15.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do we really trust something that comes through the social media platforms? And I'm thinking whatever the main ones are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying off TikTok. I'm just not.
Right.
Uh,
But
it-
see, the Gen Z will.
right. But even so, that's still down
Mm-hmm.
at 56.
And look
And
at China. China's at the top. Why? Because China is digital currency. Um,
and
uh,
because they have whatever that other app
that
is
app,
that
they have the street vendors. Everybody, they don't they do transactions with an app.
right, you buy your food, you do
Touch your
everything with
phone,
it.
blah blah blah, and you're gone.
Right.
You're gone. So they're saying that shopping via live events is most popular in Asian Pacific countries. China sits at the top of this list, and then this is live events. This is the live part. Remember TikTok live shopping? Remember we talked about forgot who the lady was that had the business and she did 1 million or something, and they had a party for her, and they celebrated that because that she was an American in USA, whereas in China that kind of thing not the million, but the shopping, it's not a thought for them. They just do it
Yeah, this is QVC on
online. Hmm.
on a social media
Online.
a social
Yeah.
platform. I'm surprised QVC hasn't put something up on the social
Well, again,
platform.
if your management, your strategy, your business strategy is older people thinking older things, if you don't have a younger group in there to say, hey, online shopping is happening on TikTok, maybe we should be there. That person with that idea inside of a older environment, business wise, they knock them down. They're like, you crazy, because they think this is what I said before. The 65 and up older think that it's all silly, all silliness, all dancing and all that other stuff, and I'm like, that's just one aspect of it. To being on social media platform, that's just one part of it. We're moving into the media. It's even that's why, and we talked about mass media, that's why they're so upset, especially with the vice president. They're so upset because she won't she's doing stuff where the eyeballs are. That's online.
Yeah, and she's listening to her kids.
Who's watching CNN?
Not many.
The same people they like to call up with the landline. I
Uh,
agree.
Dr. Tachi says they haven't been paying good attention if they think it's all
I
silliness.
agree 100%. 100%. But that is the attitude of a lot of corporations with older leadership. You might find a few. I think people like, I'm trying to think. Mark Cuban is one, as he's very digital forward and all that. But then most of them, they like, they don't, first, because it comes from not understanding why the kids are on TikTok and why they do the silly stuff. Well, when you was a kid, what did you do? What did you do,
Dr.
Mr.
Tachi said,
CEO?
oh, see, ain't nobody
Ain't
coming to
nobody
see you,
coming to.
Otis.
And the mainstream media is fighting. CNN, ABC, the Hoda Copy just stepped down from the Today Show. Um, NBC, they want younger faces on the screen because they think that's going to bring Gen Z to them. Whereas they're on TikTok.
Look,
So
the local news people are all skewed younger now. I'm
yeah,
like, who's this dude doing the weather? They're I'm serious. I'm like, dude, you look like you need to be on a skateboard. But they're like you said, they're trying to reach the younger. We're not
they
too
want. I love Hoda. Good luck to her. But they didn't want to pay her the 20 million because it's like we can get somebody younger for a third of that,
mm,
and we get the eyeballs that we want because advertisers want who? 18 to
to 20. Yeah,
34.
18 to 30. Yeah.
18 to
So
30, 34, 35. Because advertise and the reason why news wants that is because that's how they make money. Are we
but you
paying
notice
to watch the Today Show? It's free.
okay, so here's the thing. How come I'm just asking this
Hmm.
question?
Hmm.
Why isn't there the news over on why isn't CNN on TikTok?
Good question. I think they might be, but their focus is not that. And this comes from me listening to Gary talk about advertising agencies, how they put their ad dollars into making a big production commercial because that what is what they're used to doing, instead of him saying taking that budget and chopping it up and giving it to influencers on TikTok or doing small short form video. It's a big thing, but it's because one, they don't want to give up control. Two, a corporation has to go through legal, and legal has to approve this, and with social, you there is a small window of opportunity of catching the wave of something.
And okay, so this is just me. I would think I would have a social team, and the social team would be like, "Hey,
They
everybody,
do.
this is so and so from CNN, and we're here and on the TikTok channel. Hey guys, and just have somebody from that era doing it for you, but
See, it's because it's control. It's control. They want to control. Also, they have everything had to go through legal with a corporation. Is this right? Is this because they're afraid of being sued or whatever? So that frustrates the social media team that they do have. Go ahead with Dr. Tachi's comment because I got
yeah, Dr.
something to
Tachi
add.
says, however, I think it's too late for network television and their morning shows. If they want to keep it young and fresh, they should have started including young and fresh faces long ago.
I agree.
And Mark says, all of the networks are on social media, but it's the clips of panels or stories.
Right.
And
It's not. Thank you, Mark. So their main focus is the morning show, and then they clip it up and put it on TikTok. Because I follow CBS Mornings, and they do. It's a little bit of okay. It came on this morning. Maybe I missed it or whatever. How about put it on where I can watch it or have it simultaneous? They're not thinking that way, guys. They're not thinking that way. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why, but the thing it's staring you in the face. I
right.
want younger viewers. Where are the younger viewers? We say it all the time. Where are the younger viewers? Bloop, they're here
on their phone. They're not sitting in front of the TV.
on
So
the TV.
if I'm just thinking, if I'm one of these networks, I'm gonna like we live stream to different channels, live stream the doggone thing to TikTok or
You have to have a mindset towards that. It's a
oh,
bunch of things going on here. Dr. Tati is right.
the networks are not creating content specifically for social media. They're just repurposing what they put on linear. They need social media teams to come up with fresh, specific content.
But see, what I'm saying is the social media team is trying, but they're not being heard because legal is slapping it down. CEO suite, they're slapping it down. Older people don't understand. They don't understand. If they understood, then we would see just shift.
Right.
They see they're on the Titanic. They see the iceberg, but they're not. They're like, well,
They see everybody sliding down the side of you see everybody sliding. It's like, come on.
I hate to bring that analogy, but that's it. And I always go back to what the vice president is doing. Her political strategy, it got so many people upset. And I mean, the old guard of this is how we do it when we run a campaign. She's like, I ain't doing that. She got a online. She has a Kamala HQ brand. They are Johnny on the spot with things. Boom. If the other guy says something, boom, they've cut it up within an hour.
Look, I saw
and it spreads.
When she first was announced as a candidate, I saw a bunch of stuff from TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm not on TikTok. I mean, it was TikTok.
Because it gets spread, it spreads to the others. TikTok spreads. You don't have to be on TikTok. The TikTok I talked about today with the lady about the being upset the first time, I didn't see it on TikTok.
Right. But it came out and there were people that were saying something about her and stuff. And they were all talking about how refreshing and blah, blah, blah. This was on TikTok. And it wasn't any other major news network. It was TikTok.
Right. And one more thing about the vice president, Madam Vice President, she recently did a interview with I gotta go and watch it. She did an interview with a podcast show. Two men. It must be something popular. I don't know because I don't watch a lot of if it's sport. I think it's sports themed or something like that. I'm not watching it unless it gets talked. So that has people upset. Why would she talk to these podcasters when she should go on ABC and do blah blah blah, go on CNN? She's done CNN, but they don't like it. They don't like what she's doing. She's talking to the people.
Oh, really? She talking to the rest of us.
Where they are? Where are the people? Where are the people? People. Where are the people? Are they watching the nightly news? Not like they used to. We just talked about that. Tom Brokaw. That no, they're not doing that. There's some comments here. Let me see.
Oh, it was all the smoke podcast. Oh my
Okay,
God.
yes. Yes. So explain to me what this pot if you know what it is, let me know.
I'm
Because
going
I'm
to
going to watch it.
because all the smoke is it is like it ain't, let me look it up because it's not.
And is it two sports guys?
Yes.
Because I saw the picture, it was her and these two tall guys, and I was like, basketball is NBA. Some NBA players has some. Okay, so it's all the smoke podcasts, and I gotta go check out. But it's got everybody in a tizzy and a frizzy. They're upset. Why would she talk to? Because
Oh, look, all the smoke is, wait, Mark, what's his name? Matt Barnes. And
Matt Barnes. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Matt Barnes used to be on our on the he's from Sacramento, and he
Okay.
was on the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
So
I've heard
uh
some like things about Matt Barnes. Like he was married to somebody. It was I just
no,
heard like years ago a big thing, and there's like okay, so now I see.
and Dr. Tachi says, I just saw the clips today on all the
So
smoke.
I'm going to watch it myself.
Kamala has been very smart. The MSM will simply be looking for clickbait instead of policy depth. Uh, oh, so she is not playing their game. Very
Yeah,
smart.
she from day one. Day one.
Now,
She is discussing.
all the smoke is gonna blow up. It's gonna be a Shannon Sharp moment for them.
Go be Shannon. So that's why I was like, wait a minute. So, because I saw the buzz, like, oh, why would she? So mainstream media is mad because she's like later for y'all because one, nobody's watching it. Two, Gen Z is not watching it. Three, she wants to get in front of the people. She wants to talk to people. Why did you spread her message? How do you spread a message today? Do you buy a radio ad? Well, you can, but you get more bang for your buck on social media, and you got to have the right team, which she does, that knows how to use social media correctly. It started with Obama. He used it, but she's taking it to another level.
Whole nother level. Dr.
It's
Taji
about
said
me.
it's
Yep.
about the club Shay Shay. So here's the thing. All the smoke pairs two of the most outspoken and controversial players of their time, known as fiery, intense competitors during their on-court careers. Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson are now two of the most widely respected voices by today's crop of NBA stars. This ain't got nothing to do. They're not political whatsoever.
Not at all.
I,
Not at all.
I'm like, okay. And so normally they bring in people that they played with or whatever in the sports industry, but they brought in the vice president of the United States. All the smoke is going to be okay. And it's called the Black Effect Network.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Somebody one day ago, ooh wee. Okay. I
So,
wonder
I
if they
mean,
got a YouTube channel. They should. So
they probably do. But
they do.
I again, I don't have to know about the podcast. The clips, like Dr. Sati said, clips are everywhere. That's how Shannon got the thing with Cat Williams. The clips were everywhere. That's how I think because I never watched his. He already had his channel. I never watched any of his podcasts, but then those clips, the clips draw you in. So, all right, let's get back to this real quick because there's a couple more slides. So, this is social commerce growth. 62% of global shoppers say that they intend to shop more through social media in the future. This is good news. The country with the highest percentage of consumers who intend to shop more is China. No shocker. The lowest was France at 26%. Again, there is expert commentary here, an expert opinion on this slide and throughout the PDF. So this one is talking about why it hasn't exploded in the West yet. It's because culturally we do things differently, but those things are changing. This will change. But China's already there. China's been there for a long time with the uh online shopping, live event shopping and stuff like that. Okay, so here we go. So the social platforms consumers are most likely to shop from and which offer the best experience. Woo, look, who's at the top? Facebook. Facebook's at the top. Instagram is second. Third, no platform I would most likely to purchase from. So it's pretty much Facebook and Instagram reign supreme at the top. TikTok is number three. WhatsApp, YouTube, other. I'm not sure what the other is. Pinterest is there, 2%. Reddit, Twitter, X, Telegram, WeChat, Snapchat, uh, Twitch, Line. I'm not sure what Line. I think I know what Line is. Share Chat, Be Real, and Signal. Now remember, this is global. And who
Is
has the
Be Real
most?
still a thing?
Hmm?
Is Be Real still a thing?
That's what I'm thinking. But see, remember, this is global. This could be other countries that don't
Okay.
have TikTok or what have you. Um, I know what's going on with WhatsApp because they're doing. I read a story this week about WhatsApp is doing a lot of business. They're putting a lot of business tools in where businesses can chat in the chat bots, and there's something about shopping. I saw it might be in this article, but that's why WhatsApp is there. YouTube, Pinterest, this good old Pinterest, but Facebook and Instagram is on the top.
Well, okay, because they've been around longest, and you can probably
And they have the most users.
right. I would trust shopping from an ad on Facebook or Instagram before I would shop any other place or
And
YouTube.
remember, we talked about Facebook Marketplace, that Gen Z goes to Facebook for Facebook Marketplace, which is shopping,
It's
buying.
interesting that people are not shopping that much on YouTube.
Only because I think people that YouTube is going to grow. YouTube is that it's not there yet, but it's going to get there. Is all I can say about it. So that's why I always tell you, YouTube, do YouTube. It's going to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube is doing the right things for growth. The tools, a lot of AI things they're putting in where your video can be translated into other languages, which means you reach more people who don't speak English, but may be interested in what you have to say and what you have to sell. Global. Remember, this is global. Okay, so there's I think there's two more. So this is top 10 reasons that would encourage consumers to spend more on social platforms. One, deals and discounts. So pricing. That's what gets them. Then ease of purchase. How easy is it for me to buy? Then exclusive offers, customer reviews, greater product availability, seeing the products from real customers. That means your user generated content, people that actually use the product talking about it. Then service delivery, faster payments, buy now, pay later, and my mic is in the way. Early access to products. Okay, so deals and discounts, pricing naturally. And this is the last slide that I'm going to show. There's more in here, but the key takeaways here. One, social commerce is gaining momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Two, consumers favor on platform transactions, not off. That means within the app, they're not going. Again, it's really hard to get them to leave to go, okay, come over here. Three, price sensitivity remains a key driver. That means when all other things or factors are there, price is going to drive them to buy. And four, social commerce presents both opportunities and challenges. And we talked about a lot of the things that are happening. And it's mostly attitude wise, generational wise, and you know, that's where we are. But there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of good information here. Take a look. I put the link in. Let me take this down. The link is here to download the PDF. You just put your email in. I believe there's like, was it 100? I'm not sure how many slides. A lot of slides, a lot of data in there. I thought it was interesting that we talk about it because you need to know future shopping trends, how people think affects how they buy.
It does.
If it's in front of them, presented the right way, right messaging, and it's easy to buy. You don't make them jump through hoops. They're buying. They're buying. So I thought that was interesting because this was global, global trends, a global survey. And the USA, like I said, was 13 out of whatever, which I was like, wow, okay. So there's growth and potential here. There is potential, especially we're talking about with YouTube and some of the other platforms, that consistency is the driver of it. And then we talked about some of the media things, and that drives growth in purchasing also, because in the an example with Club Shay Shay, because I don't know what All the Smoke is doing. I don't know if they just doing a podcast and nothing, but uh Shannon Sharp is selling products.
I
Shannon
think they
Sharp,
are. I think they are too. They got over a
okay,
million subscribers.
okay, but the subscribers are good. But what are they? Is it more sponsorship? Is it whatever? Because Shannon is doing sponsorships and his own products, so he's using the platform to grow his brand, grow his business, and get more revenue at the end. So All the Smoke, because it's fun. A lot of people do podcasts for the fun of it, and they think, oh, I'm gonna get a sponsor, blah blah blah. Again, I'm watching the video from Omar, the department, and he has one about, let me see if I can find it. He has one, it's called is it called How to Podcast in 2024? Very good. I haven't finished watching it. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find
this
it in my
is
history.
okay because she's from the Bay Area. That's why
Oh, okay.
doing this too because Matt Barnes was on the Warriors at one time. She's from this area,
Right.
so
California, there's
right.
a California theme. Um Omar L. Takori, I think that's his name. The podcast I was watching is an hour and 20 minutes. I haven't finished it. It's called How to Grow a Podcast from Zero in 2024. He did it 2 weeks ago. And he also has one with the other gentleman I was talking about. I can't remember his name. He has an interview with him. This was 2 months ago. It's called The Business Expert: The Best Way to Make Millions. And that was the I'm trying to see if his name comes up, but that's the gentleman I was saying that he said he had the YouTube channel and he wasn't doing anything with it. He was just posting here and there, and all of a sudden he took it seriously and he grew from 10K. He went from like 100 to 10K to now I think 80K or something, or some big number. But only because, and he said all I did was be consistent about posting, and some
Right.
other things, some YouTube things. There's some YouTube rules that you got to do, the thumbnail, the title, blah blah blah. But YouTube is really good about, if you like a video and you watch a couple of them, when you come in back into YouTube, the app, or on the desktop, it will serve you similar. It will serve you. So because I watched that video, now I'm seeing this, I can't remember his name, older gentleman talking. I think his thing is selling, something about selling. So I'm seeing videos of him.
Oh, you mean Myron Golden?
That might be it. Is he Darcy? He has like a
Yeah,
gray.
Myron
Yeah, that's who
Golden.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and he is he was on with Omar.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So that's how because he talked about in the podcast video, he talked about, I think he said Myron. I don't think he said his name. And I went and did a search and found the video that he was talking about. I think he gave the title. But now I'm getting stuff from Myron. So I'm gonna watch something from his channel. And just like when we talked about the craft lady, Cassandra, that she made,
Cassandra, yeah.
so when I watched his and then I went to her channel, now I'm seeing her stuff. So that's what YouTube does.
And YouTube, and they pay well.
Yes, and they pay well. Just ask Shannon. They pay very well. Once you get in the partnership program.
Right.
So,
It
but
and it yeah, to
mhm,
make that push to get in that program, they
right,
pay well.
right. Once you get in, you're in. So the
Yeah.
key, the work is to get in. So think of plan. You got a new farm, you got to turn the earth over, you got to plant it, you got to nurture it, you got to do all those things. Well, that's what happens. But see, here's another thing. A lot of people don't want to do that, and that's fine. But that's what it takes now on social media. And I tell you, the days of just posting things, just to post, they don't work. That doesn't work.
No.
Trying to get followers, it doesn't work. Because bots or people that's not interested, if they don't interact with your content, they're not ever going to see it again.
Right.
And that sounds like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I say, hey, go to another platform. Whereas I talk about Pinterest, because if you want to, if you're in a selling business, I want to make a sale. Pinterest is where you need to be.
And if you need help with any of these things, you need to be reaching out to TJ. You
Oh,
can go to Terry
about that.
Johnson.
I forgot about that. If you're a writer, you're a blogger, and you want a newsletter, that's where you make your money, not on Instagram.
Mm-mm. So follow TJ, terryjohnsononline.com/info.
Mm-hmm.
You will pick up some good information. You'll be in some great company because she brings us this information. Like the stats that you just learned about, you can take that and then tweak your business to make sure that you're hitting the right audience,
Yeah.
and then make the adjustments.
Yeah. You need to know what your audience is going to be doing in the future. That's why I call it the future shopping, the future shopper. You need to know where is it going to be in 5 years? Where it's going to grow, they're saying. So get ready. Do the things that you need to do to be ready for when all of that comes.
Yep,
And it's work. I
it
tell
is.
you, it's not easy.
But we're here to smooth it out a little bit so that you can get to the information more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why TJ is here every Tuesday. Get in here, um, follow on Tuesdays, take notes, then reach back out to her if you need some specific help on stuff. I'm sure she'll do
Yeah.
consultation
I
with you to help you take the hassle out of your marketing hustle.
Yeah,
That's what
I
she's here
I
for.
like I like answering questions. I like trying to find a solution. I'm trying to build a library of free guides, so I'm working on that. But I don't have to have it all. People think I gotta have it all ready now. Just build it brick by one brick, one brick. You just put it in, and then once it's done, people will see it. If
Right.
they're interested, they're coming.
So, and then TJ will be back with us on Fridays because we talk tech and
Mhm.
all the latest happenings. Um, uh,
Yeah, things are happening tech wise this whole week, and we got to wrap it up. We give you that synopsis, and
and so
you know,
you'll know what's changed, right?
yeah,
Because some stuff changes, and it's like, okay, everybody, we need to pivot because this went away or this came on the scene. And what I like about Friday, she talks about uh, new apps that come out that may be a better fit than some of the apps that you're working with
yeah.
now. So,
You might want to fish in a different pond. It's not always Facebook and Instagram.
right.
Mark has a comment.
Oh, he says today's episode of the 4 minute mark. Are you in response or creator mode
Ooh,
on all podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok? Come on by and say hello.
I
Thank you,
will.
Mark.
That sounds interesting. That sounds
It
like
really
some.
does. And then you can catch Dr. Tachi on indiesoupmedia.tv. And
Mm-hmm.
because Dr. Tachi's running a media empire over there, y'all.
Yeah, brick
And she's
by
got
brick.
yep, and she's got some great guests, including Miss TJ here. So become a part of the Bizchicks community. We're always here Monday through Friday. You can text Biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net. However you do it, become a part of the Bizchicks community. And we are always going to be here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run.
Yeah.
And so we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for all the interaction and questions and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.